Hello and welcome to the Madison podcast. I am your host to the audience of the world. It's probably like 10 people. Ben Lavender, New York's favorite British mortgage broker, with another special guest, Ms. Judit Gonzalez. Welcome, Judit.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on. I didn't have to strong arm you into coming on. It was just kind of like a gentle, like it's time. It's time to shine and be divine.
You were like, you ready?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you're here. You're a great person. We've known each other not that long. I think a couple months, right? Something like that. And you have a great personality. You're bubbly. You're warm. I think you attract people to you, and I think it's good for the people of the world to see you on camera. I didn't stalk your social media. I'm not gonna lie. I probably should do that with more guests. But do you do a lot of social media, like video stuff?
I've been trying to get into it a little bit more, just to reach out to my audience a little. Like, not my clients yet, but my future clients, hopefully, just people that I know from my...
Like to work your sphere.
Yeah.
Basically. That's how I do it, honestly. Like, the whole point is just to stay in front of people, not necessarily, like, grow it to a following where it's 1 million people or whatever. Yeah. I mean, if it gets there, that would be fantastic, right? Yeah. But it's not really realistic to think mortgage content will get there.
Yeah, I mean, just to reach out to people, because you can tell people, like, you do mortgages, or I could tell people I do real estate, but nobody really knows unless they see it.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to tell them. Not only do you have to tell them, but you have to shove it, like, down their throat constantly, like, every day, like, email, mail, like, business cards, T-shirts, mugs, everything. Just get in their face. What would be a good branding or slogan for you, Judith? I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing rhymes with Judith.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It sucks.
It's a struggle.
Just because I have no H.
But what if you do like a multi-Judith, like the syllables?
Do a little jingle?
I don't know. My rapping days are over. Back when I was in England, I was a famous Jewish rapper.
What was your name?
Just Ben the Jew. No, that never happened. Okay. Tyler. Okay, Judith. So tell us how did you, I mean, I know because you told me, but tell us, how did you get into the business? Why did you get into this business? It's a question I love to ask, and I always say, because no one grows up wanting to be a realtor. So it's just, everyone has like an interesting story. So let's hear it.
So yeah, nobody grows up knowing, oh, I want to be a realtor, because they don't teach you that stuff, right? When you're younger. I grew up in Brooklyn, first generation from here. So
2 blocks from me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're 2 blocks from me, because so yeah, I got into it because I wanted to educate my family a little bit more, right? My grandmother owns a co-op. She doesn't know what a co-op is. She doesn't know what she bought back in the 80s, right? Yeah. So I did it for that, and then I did it because I just wanted to get out where I was at before, right? Like everybody else. Yeah. But obviously you get into real estate, and not everybody makes it in real estate. First 2 years were really hard.
But you made it out.
Yeah. You got to stick it through. And I love it. There's never a day that I'm like, I hate this. Like, never.
Really?
Never.
No, I don't believe that.
It hasn't passed.
But there's got to be like a 5-minute window of where you're like, I just want to.
Yeah, you're like a 5-minute window, like, damn, this is hard. But no, you're always like, you know what? I can get through this. I'll find a solution to this, and this is way better than what I was doing before. So,
What were you doing before?
I was dispatching tractor trailers for UPS.
Tractor trailers?
Yes.
How does that? I don't even know how that works. Yeah. That sounds like logistically it sounds complicated.
Yeah, it's all logistics, exactly.
Yeah, which is actually quite impressive. What they do. It's amazing. I feel like
it is.
FedEx and UPS, USPS should run the government or something.
They probably do.
Yeah, I hope they do. Well, actually, no, because that means we're beyond hope.
No.
Anyway, not to get political. So continue. Let's continue on your journey into real estate and how it's been for you, please.
So my first 2 years, it was hard. A lot of my clients were referrals, so
that's great.
Yeah, it is great, but I also wanted to build my own clientele, right? Because where would I go after that? Like, yeah. I switched brokerages, so now I wish that I had some clientele to bring over, but I'm getting there, right? A couple of months ago, I made a video on Instagram, and one of my actually captains from my basketball team back in high school reached out.
Oh, cool.
She was like, I want to buy a house. What do I have to do? And I was like, what I'm doing is working. Yes. I feel it working now. So, Yeah, like.
And that should motivate you to do even more.
Yeah, it's motivating me to keep pushing, right? My first 2 years were over. That was the biggest struggle. Like, now what? Now more growth.
So what's next?
Exactly. We'll keep going.
Any specific plan or
I don't know. So as of right now, I made my switch. I'm trying to get more into investment properties, right? So
you did mention that because your brokerage is mainly around investors, right?
Yeah. So my new brokerage is mainly around investors. I'm working hand in hand with one of my partners, Ivan. He's great. So I'm hoping to learn a lot from him. And I want to buy something in the next 2 years, hopefully.
As you should.
Exactly.
It's something that I don't see enough people, mortgage side as well, don't do enough. Yeah. You know, it's like we know how to. And honestly, like, so I bought my first property 6 years ago. And if it wasn't for being in this business, I don't think I would have done it. Because it kind of pulls back the curtains on what it takes. Right, especially like the mortgage side, which is, you know, the money. It's like, what are the requirements? Because most people, it's intimidating. And then when you can structure it, and then obviously when you know people in the business, realtors that can help you. Actually, to be fair, no one I knew helped me, but still, it comes in handy. So it's like I'm happy to hear that's a goal of yours, and if you do it now, and also like you're young, right? So you have time on your side, even if you don't get, not that you want to get a bad deal, but if you don't get the best deal in the world, it's okay, because over, you know, in 15 years from now, even 5 years from now, you won't care. Like, I remember when I bought my first one, I'm not going to talk about where it is, but like everyone said that I was an idiot. They're like, Ben, this is a bad area, you shouldn't buy here. And lo and behold, 6 years later, I'm a genius because it's done well in terms of appreciation, and I'm not selling it. But still, it's like sometimes you may not want to listen to other people about where to. But then again, if you're consulting with people from an actual investment brokerage, I think that is literally the optimal place for you to get that advice.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask you, in terms of clientele, did you switch to that brokerage because you would prefer to work with investors as opposed to buyers, or, you know, sellers even, or it's just something like new for you that you wanted to get like a handle on?
So it's just something new I want to get into. I love working with buyers. Like, it warms my heart when I find the perfect house for my buyers, and they're like, just see the vision, like, please, like, this is the one. Like, I can feel it for them, you know, like that really warms my heart. I love that. This is something that I want to do for myself, right? I'm doing this for my buyers. I'm helping them find the house that they love. I want to do this for myself because I want to find, you know, my niche and what I want to put my money into in the future. Things that I wasn't taught when I was a kid or growing up at all, right?
Yeah, they don't teach us for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, so on the investing side, I have to ask, I don't know if you even know this already, like where specifically, what areas do they focus on? Are they all like New York City? Is it big developments, or?
They're doing a lot in Nassau and Suffolk County. They do have a couple in Queens, but who knows? Let's see.
And is it all rentals, development,
flips, and investment properties? So
okay,
rentals.
So buy and holds. Okay, yeah. So that's it's a great start. Yeah. It's a great start, and I would say, like, I see a lot of people get into, and this is actually a shout out to the handsome homebuyer Charles Weinraub, who said this, is like the key is to buy and hold the rentals, right? Because you can fall in love with the flips because the money is so great. But the problem is like what people end up trying, most people are like, okay, if I made $100,000, 200, 300, whatever it is off this flip, how can I scale that and do 5 a month? And then the problem is like a lot of these want-to-be flippers, when I say want-to-be, I don't mean like you're a wannabe. I mean like literally they want to be a full-time flipper, that they just end up biting off more that they can chew, and they end up not doing it, and then they're left with nothing. They made their little bit of money and now they're out completely. And Charles said to himself, like, from the beginning, yes, you want to buy the flips because they fuel to buy the next properties, right? So we had Mo last week who literally said, like, he loves, you know, helping people buy and sell homes, but for his personal goals, the whole purpose is for him to literally use the money that he's making to buy investment properties and eventually, you know, I don't know if it's chill is the right word, because I don't believe in to be fair, I didn't come up with this myself. I got this from Gary Vee. Is that there's no such thing as passive income, right? You can like have systems in place that manage the income, right? But ultimately it's, someone was like, I want to chill on a beach in Mexico, and they're just like, I mean, you can do that, but to do that without putting in the work, without building, it's just not realistic. And I think for some reason, do you know who Tim Ferriss is?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the 4-Hour Work Week?
Yes.
Okay. Have you read it?
No.
Neither have I. But I know a lot of people that have, and there are two types of people, and it kind of what I was talking about led me to this thought, is that you got two types of people. You got people that like understand the book, which is basically how to leverage systems to then make money, scale your business, whatever it is. And then you got people on the other side who's just like, how can I be as lazy as humanly possible and not, do the work necessary? So like someone was saying, I forgot who it was. Actually, now I remember who it is, and I'm not going to say who it is. They were like, it's all about finding your muse, right, in terms of business and life, which I agree. I do agree, but at the same time, it's like you can't just work on what makes you happy. You have to be able to do things that are difficult and challenging and not so fun.
Yeah.
Structuring loans, I enjoy the puzzle of them, but would I rather like play with a cute little puppy or structure loans? I would rather play with a cute little puppy. Right?
All day.
So, yeah, I love puppies. Actually, what's your retirement dream? Like your ideal job?
I don't know.
To get money.
Work.
So, yeah,
like
right?
everybody else, but I don't know. I've never thought of it. I think more like, what am I doing the next 2 years, next 5 years? I've never thought like even that far ahead. Because I don't know, like, who knows? Just like those.
You have
like,
no idea where life's going to take you.
I have no idea. Just like those people, like, oh, I don't want to work. I want to chill on the beach.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not even life is like that. Things get thrown at you all the time. You have to work and you have to hustle at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to get into real estate because they think it's easy. Oh, you're chilling at happy hour. Yeah. We're chilling at happy hour stressed because...
You are chilling at happy hour, dude. And I see you chilling at happy hour.
We are chilling at happy hour, but we're stressed. We're having a shot because, our deal just fell through. Like, it's a struggle. And you have to work for these people. You have to work hard for these people. You can't give up for these people,
Yeah, and it brings out the worst in people.
Yeah, it does.
Real estate. Because it's stressful. It's understandable. Someone's making the biggest, most important purchase of their entire life, or one of, right? They have I wouldn't say they have the right to act like a lunatic, but once in a while you do get people who go a little bit crazy for no reason, by the way. If it's warranted, I get it. Like if something legitimately bad happened, fine, like you have the right to, but sometimes people go crazy for no reason. So sometimes people just want an excuse, or they want a punching bag, and they're like, why not
straw.
You, Judith? You're in my sights. Might as well just.
Oh my God, that used to happen to me all the time. Like I'll just call and be like, "Oh, is this rental available?" And they'll just hit me with like a, "No." I'm like, okay. It used to hurt in the beginning, but then you get used to it.
Question.
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
like...
But it happens all the time.
Really?
I mean, people answer the phone angrily.
Agents?
Yeah. You ever dealt with agents in the boroughs? I'm from the boroughs, guys.
I have, yeah. Most of my career, actually.
They're not that great.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, though. Even though they can be a little bit rougher, the communication style is more efficient, which I appreciate. Because it's just straight to the point, whereas, sometimes outside... So... I love dealing with agents not in New York. I'd say 5 to 10% of my business is outside of New York. It's not much. But the agents tend to be more pleasant and easygoing. But at the same time, they're also, they dilly-dally. It's, there's two sides to every coin, right? So you can't win. I guess I wouldn't say the grass is always greener, but there's always a pro to the con.
I prefer the toughness because that builds you, right?
Yeah. And that's what you were raised in.
Yeah, exactly. But at least answer the phone.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself a tough individual?
I don't know. I have friends that say I'm soft, but yeah, I have met people that say, oh, Judith, maybe you should tone it down sometimes.
I would love to see that. What does it take to see rough, tough Judith Gonzalez?
We'll see. We have to go out in Williamsburg and check it out.
Yeah, I'm just going to start fighting random people.
We were supposed to fight today.
Yeah, and that's true, we were, but I did not sleep well.
And I didn't bring the best shoes for that.
Yeah, you kick my ass, so whatever. It's not worth it. I don't feel like being embarrassed on camera. Yeah, we could just go around and start fights in Williamsburg, and I would just say it was you and run away. And it would be a great time.
I would talk my way out of it.
And that's honestly usually what I do. I'm not a fan of fighting in general.
No physical violence.
No. Unless there's only one people or one population that I want to fight aggressively.
A population?
Yeah, there are certain type of people in Williamsburg.
In Williamsburg?
Yeah, in Williamsburg specifically. I hate them.
Who?
It's the cyclists.
The cyclists.
I hate the cyclists.
You want to hear a funny story?
I do.
So that building that you live in, right? There used to be like a gate when they used to be fixing it. Yeah. 420, the one next to it. I drop off my friend one day, and it's the bike lane and then where you park your car, right? So we're dropping off my friend. He's getting out the car. There's a cyclist coming. At the same time he's getting out, the cyclist thinks my friend's about to attack him. They start fighting.
Wait, what? Why?
They start fighting because the cyclist thought that my friend was going to jump out the car and like attack him. This is what he said at the end.
But why would a cyclist just randomly think that?
I have no idea. He was like, I thought you were going to kill me, man. My mom jumps out the car and starts jumping in with my friend and hitting the cyclist as well. It's 2-on-1, the cyclist. And I'm in the car like, what's going on? It's always something with a cyclist.
Yeah.
And it's always your fault.
Right. Yeah. So that proves my point because they are crazy. They have a death wish. It's insane. It's just because I almost kill like 5 of them a day. Not because of like I drive, I'm not joking, I drive 1 mile an hour when I'm crossing because you know that I got to turn in. And it's like I'm going very slowly, inch by inch.
And they're coming from here.
Yeah, and it's like even if like the light is green for me, they don't care. They're just like, let's gamble with my life and just.
Is there a
just
bike
go.
light there?
I don't think so, but they can clearly see like the green light in the street and the red light in the street, right? As well as like the sign which says to walk or to not to, right? They're not stupid, and it happened the other day. Actually, to be fair, I did almost kill one, and it wasn't my fault. It was a green light, and I just drove, like through it. So like when you exit the building, so I drove out of it. So actually, this wasn't my fault because it was a green light. And this biker was coming, and he didn't see me, despite the fact that it was green light. And I heard him like slam the brakes with my windows closed too. I could hear the screech, like, Aah! Yeah. So almost killed that one.
That one.
So yeah, I don't discriminate on people unless they're cyclists.
I almost ran over.
If you're
a
cyclist and you want a loan, I'm going to increase your interest rate by 50%. I'm kidding. I'm not even capable of doing that. But I'm sorry. You were saying
maybe. You should.
No, I can't. No, I tell people that all the time. It's like the more you irritate me, the higher your interest rate's going to be. But of course, I can't do that. No. Can't do that legally. I can't even like in the system like doesn't allow us to just like raise interest rates. It's just or lower them magically. It's what the market rate is based on the loan program, qualifications, etc.
You heard that?
Yeah, I mean it's not that interesting, but I mean look. Well, it's important to say actually because I think some people think that we have like magic powers. So I get people that call me and like, Ben, I'd like to get the interest rate of like 2% from 2020, and I was like, I would love to. I can't do that. It's not where the market is. And then they get angry with me personally, despite I explain to them in a calm, professional manner, and it's just like, I want the rate. I was like, well, I wish I could give it to you, sir or madam, and unfortunately we can't. I talk a lot about like angry people. To be fair, I don't deal with that many angry people. It's just that the angry ones are memorable.
Yeah.
Right. So 1 out of every like 1,000 are angry or irritating because that's just human nature. And like the sweet, pleasant people, they're not fun to talk about because they're sweet and pleasant.
Why is that?
Because it doesn't make for good TV. Not that we're famous. How are we on time? Okay, this is going by pretty quickly. Okay.
I feel like we spoke about a lot.
We spoke a lot of nonsense, which is exactly what I wanted. Perfect. I love to talk smack and BS, which Tyler knows very well because that's what I do to him all day.
He's like, I just chill.
Tyler works hard. He chills, but he works very hard.
We can see it. We can see it in the videos.
Yeah, right. The quality is good. They're getting better. They're getting better as well. He's always updating and staying on his A game. Speaking of which, you need to do some content with Tyler. Probably. Yes. Definitely. Most likely. 100%.
We should.
You should. It's easy to come up with content. Don't give me that look. You said you did it, a month or 2 ago, and you had people reach out. Now you just got to do it every,
It works.
5 hours.
Works. It does. I know. I just have to schedule my time better and...
do what I do. I block out one day a week for an hour and we just shoot content. That's it. And
but you're like...
Yeah, but that takes time, right? It's not magic.
Practice.
Yeah, I've been shooting videos for 5 years. In the beginning, I would take an hour to shoot a 60-second video because I kept messing things up. I didn't like what I said, how I sounded. Now, yes, I'm quicker, but also I realize that no one really watches the videos anyway. So even if I say something that doesn't make complete sense, but it's as long as it's compliant and you get the message, I'm just like, yeah, that's good enough. Because what's the point, right? Like, at the end of the day, Judith, the idea is for people to remember who you are and what you do, right? Judit Gonzalez does real estate. So the video is a reminder of that. That's really all that it is. So as long as you're doing that to one... I mean, obviously you don't want to make a video saying, I'm Judit Gonzalez and I do real estate. Provide value, right? Give away education or something. Yeah. So these people know that you're a professional and that you know what you're doing, but you can do that without selling yourself. I've never seen someone actually try and sell themselves and grow successfully. That's another thing that Gary Vee is give. You know, what are the most common questions then this is what I say all the time. What are the most common questions that your clients ask you? Give me 5.
How do I start to buy a house?
Boom.
How do I get pre-approved? Boom. How much do I need to save? Where can I buy with my budget? Does my credit score need to be high?
Easy. All content ideas. Yeah. All videos. You just did it.
Yeah. It's honestly not... Actually, we overthink it a lot, right? I'll just be having a brain fart. But it's honestly not that hard, and you just have to do it.
Yeah.
And I try to do it very hard. The other day I told you I got my first little hater on my Instagram.
I don't recall.
On my comment.
What were they saying?
They were respectfully, we don't need realtors. You guys are just the middleman.
Oh, yeah. Didn't I reply to that?
No.
I thought I did.
Okay. You told me in my DMs, you were like, you handled that very well. I was like, yeah, because what the hell?
Oh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to offer information for these people. We're not here to make,
And that guy was an investor.
Yeah, he was an investor.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be an investor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that guy specifically, but the average person that is an investor just wants to be because it sounds and looks cool. Meanwhile, they don't own anything, and what a lot of people do too as well. And I'm not knocking it because it is in some cases a very good business model, but is to do the rent something and Airbnb it, right? So that's what a lot of them are. But the problem with that strategy is that even though the cash flow is nice, it's not a real long-term plan because you don't own the thing.
Yeah.
But that's where you come in. And you help them buy.
Yep. I mean, we're here to educate. I'm not here to... Of course, we're going to get paid to do it, right? We have to get paid.
Yeah.
But people think that we're just here they just want to sell a house and that's it. Yeah, there might be people out there to do that. But like you said, none of those people ever became successful off of that, right? Nobody wants to get sold to.
Exactly. I agree. People want to be guided. And I'm glad you brought that up, actually. And I have spoken about this before, but it's important to think of is that in the business, as we know that we are real estate and mortgage professionals, very egotistical. Not all of us, but a lot of us. And I have times where my ego's high and where it's medium. And I always find it funny when someone's like, I got this client to buy a house. I was like, you didn't get the client to buy the house. Yes, you guided them, but did you help them save for 4 years? Did you help them make a family? Well, that would be very weird and awkward. But you get my point. All these things that happen in people's lives is what ultimately leads them to buying or even selling a home. To think that we have the power to convince a random person to buy or sell a property, it's obscene. It's absolutely obscene, right? I mean, yes, you can guide them to buy a specific one, or if they were just thinking about one, but they didn't realize, they thought it was a bad house, and you showed them why it's actually a great property for them, that's a different story, right? But it's I come across people sometimes, again, who just have yes, I did this, and I helped this client do that, and it was just... It reminds me of a time where, oh wow, this was a long time ago. So I don't know if I told you this. Before I was in the mortgage business, I was a personal trainer. And I ran a boot camp with one of my best friends. it was long story. Anyway, I had a client. It was group training. It wasn't one-on-one. So it was like classes of like 10 to 20 people. It's called like semi-private or group classes, boot camp style, just without all the crazy injuries and screaming. So there was this lady who, she'd been a client of mine for like a year and a half. And, you know, she said to me, Ben, I want to thank you so much. I've lost so much weight, this, that, the other. Like, you've been a huge part of it. And then before I could say anything, like not literally a word comes out my mouth, another client in the class says, don't thank him. He didn't do anything. You should thank yourself. And I actually agree with the client that said that, right? She's 100% right. Was it necessary to cut me off right and be rude? Yeah, because I was going to say, like, you know, I'm happy that I could contribute, but ultimately it's up to you. Like, I didn't help you, you know, fix your diet. At the time, we weren't doing like nutrition consulting. That was on them. So, you know, it's just like, it's just funny. You know, it's just funny how that happens. People are weird.
Yeah, people are weird.
Yeah, especially you. I'm just kidding. Okay, back to business. We'll end with this, Judith. Given where the market is, how do you think buyers should approach the current market?
Okay, so definitely only buy a house if you're ready to buy a house, right? Which everybody says, you know, have the right budget, make sure you're
No, people don't say that, Judith.
They don't?
People say buy a house no matter what because it's the best thing. No,
well, that's why I don't make content like, oh, buy a house, buy a house.
Yeah,
it's the right time to buy a house. It's the right time when you can afford to buy a house, right? Reach out, talk numbers. The only right time to do it is when you talk it over with your family members or whoever it is that's going to be paying your mortgage. If it's you, whoever, come talk to Ben Lavender and talk numbers, you know, talk numbers. And whenever you're ready to buy a house, then buy. Don't be scared about the interest rates. You know, you can always, everybody says you can always refinance, but you know, you can always refinance. The truth is mortgage rates are probably not going to come down for a while. You know, they're coming down, but very slowly, and they're not going to be at 2%, right?
I agree. Alrighty, everyone. So thank you for coming on the Madison podcast, Judit Gonzalez. It was a pleasure having you. We're going to have you on again in a year from now to see your progress and hold you accountable, because you're going to be like, shoot, I have to go back, so I got to come back with some ammunition.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we do.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.